Good morning, legends. Hope you're all doing well. First of all, I need to apologize for today's update being a recording instead of live. I have some appointments today, so I won't have time to go live at the usual time. So I am filming this a little bit earlier. And also apologies that I was not able to go live yesterday as well. Some days you just need a personal day. So I'm going to go through this chart that you're seeing on your screen right now. It was a chart that I posted on my Twitter yesterday, which now gives me the opportunity to go through it in detail. This is for Bitcoin. We'll have a quick look at Ethereum, see where we're up to in the cycle, and whether or not we believe a midweek reversal is coming today. So if you're new here, welcome. If you are returning, welcome back. If you're looking for an exchange to trade on, my preferred exchange is OKX, and they have just released an integration with TradingView, so you can trade through OKX directly from your TradingView account, which is awesome. And I will be doing a video in more detail on that in a few days' time. Be sure to grab the link from the description down below if you are looking for an exchange to trade on, as that link will give you 15% discount on your trading fees. Now let's get into Bitcoin. This is the cycle I believe we're playing right now. It is on the 4-hour time frame. You can clearly see here that we do have the W formation that broke the 50 EMA. Then we had the retest, which created the higher low from the peak of the W. Then we had level 2, which broke the 200 EMA, retested, and now we're potentially in level 3. The key thing to watch once we broke this level here at around 22,890 was to see how far price was going to come into these candles here, because this zone right here is the make or break for this uptrend. At any of these candles here, price could either harshly reject or push through with strength. At this point in time, what we can see is that we have a rejection about halfway through this one candle here. But will this rejection last? I'm going to go down to a smaller time frame and show you what I'm looking for there. But before I do, just some other things to note on this chart. I have been marking out the highest point in which the leverage is building up according to High Block at every peak along the way. And you can see here that when it does peak out at its highest points on all of these numbers here, we do get a reversal in price. Now we were sitting at about 27 billion when we got up to this level here, and we're currently sitting at about 20 with this little rejection here. So again, price doesn't need to reverse very far to wipe out a lot of traders, because there are a lot of traders that will commit their positions at level 3 on super high leverage. Now let's go down to the 1-hour time frame. So I want to explain in detail what I saw on the price action last night. This area here that I have marked was an area in the heat maps on Trading Light that showed very, very high sell orders in Bitcoin. It was actually the highest sell orders that I have seen in this whole run up, and it was sitting at around 24,200, which you can see we wicked right into, and that's where we did see the rejection so far. Now a lot of people are saying this is because of the Tesla earnings report, and because Tesla has sold a lot of their Bitcoin, that's what caused this, and that it wasn't that much of a move. I can tell you those orders were sitting there anyway, which just goes to prove that market makers use the news as an excuse, and the move was coming anyway. Here's the problem I have though on the 1-hour time frame. Even though we seem to have these two fairly large volume red candles heading down, when we zoom out along this whole run from the peak formation low that started last week, we can see that every rise and retrace basically held the 50 EMA. And even with this move here, this wick at this point in time has held the 50 EMA. So the 1-hour time frame is the one that is of interest to me. I'm not looking any lower to get a position if I believe that we are going to have a midweek reversal. And the reason for that is because when you do go down further to the 15-minute time frame, again, a lot of these moves up at the time do look like there's the beginning of a reversal, but they are all bouncing off the 200 EMA. So I'm just looking for a little bit more certainty on this one before I believe a midweek reversal is coming. And what I would like to see is for price to break the 50 EMA on the 1-hour time frame. It's very possible that what we're looking at right now is one side of the M formation on the 1-hour time frame. Wherever price goes to find that center peak of the M, all I'm waiting for is a retest that breaks the 50 EMA and forms the M formation. It's at that point that I would commit to a short position, bearing in mind that should I get everything I want for a short position, it would still only be a short-term trade that could be a higher time frame retracement. So if we now go back to the 4-hour time frame, if that's the play that I'm looking for, then I'm looking for price to come back to retest the 2 EMAs here initially. That's also going to cause a full recovery of this candle right here. And if we recover that full area there, then we may be able to stretch that trade out to around this candle here between around 21,200 and 21,400. At this point in time, I'm not banking on any more than that. So if I get my M formation and price starts to retrace, from there I am treating it as just a retracement trade on a higher time frame bullish trend before price comes back through, which may not happen till next week, to come back and try and make a run for these candles here. Now this all depends on bearish news coming into the market, because without bearish news they're just not going to reverse this price. So the only chance we have of a midweek reversal this week is basically today, where we have the Japan monetary policy statement, we have the Euro monetary policy statement, and we have the US unemployment claims. So if we're going to get a midweek reversal, I would say that it's going to be today, potentially in the UK session, but I would also be watching out for the Asia session today. Do say tentative still at this point in time, so they're not confirmed. But if nothing happens in Asia, then UK might be where we see the reversal towards the end of the UK session. And on that note, if you don't think this pullback is going to be that deep because we are on a higher time frame rather bullish, don't take the trade. You don't have to flip a short position if you don't think there's enough in it for you. That's certainly something I am going to be assessing at the time. If the entry presents, is it worth it for me? Because this retracement, if it doesn't end up being that big, it could just be your opportunity to get in for a long position at a lower price instead and ride the level 3 into potentially next week. Again, a reminder on my earlier update that my feeling for this week was going to be that we would have a bullish week for the whole week because the more major news events are due next week. So I'm personally not really looking for short positions unless they look like they're going to be big ones. And instead, all I'm really looking for is to maybe open a second long position, because I have been long since the CPI. So I don't really need to be looking for long positions. I'm really only looking for where a reversal might come to hedge my position. But if it doesn't look worth it, I'll just leave it alone and continue on with my current long position, potentially looking for a good spot to open a second one. That's my personal plan. Now, zooming out to take a look at Ethereum, this was also a chart that I posted on my Twitter yesterday, and this was the area that I was looking for price to head into next. Again, this is where we have struggled yesterday into about halfway of this particular candle right here. We do have the W formation. We have the level 1 retrace. We have level 2 that broke the 200 EMA. And at this point in time, we have not come back on Ethereum to retest either the 50 or the 200 EMA just yet. If price does reverse from here for that retracement before the final level 3, this is going to be the ideal area here because we've already recovered any other market making candles in this zone right here. This is the most recent one that we have not yet recovered, which is at around 1336 to 1273. However, with Ethereum being extremely bullish, it may not retrace that far. So I certainly wouldn't be banking on that entry, but if you're not long and you want to be long, that's going to give you the best risk to reward if price does head down there and it holds. It depends on your own trade plan and how bad you want to chase trades. For me, it's got to be a quality setup, not just a setup for the sake of it. Again, I am long on Ethereum since the CPI announcement, so it might be a different situation because I'm not desperately looking for a position. I'm only looking for a short to hedge my position should the short look like a good enough opportunity for me. If we do get down into this zone and hold it, this might be where I would open a second long position, because for me personally, I'm not really banking on any potential midweek reversal for this week to be highly volatile and to turn out out to be a huge trade. Now, it may turn out that that does actually happen, but when I look higher time frame, any short position does just look like a retracement on a higher time frame to me at this point in time. So again, going down to the 1 hour time frame for Ethereum, and we can also again see that on this entire run up here, every pullback price has held the 50 EMA. Ethereum's looking a little bit more promising than Bitcoin at this point in time, because again, finally we got up into this sell zone that caused the rejection, which was also off the previous high of the day. It was a very, very good area to look for rejection. But the reason Ethereum's looking a little bit more promising is because it has now failed the 50 EMA on the 1 hour time frame, which Bitcoin has not yet. So the same rule applies for me. If we come back up to create an M formation, that may be where I will short down as a hedge, with that previous zone being my final target. However, I will also be very aware of this level here, as that's also a candle that's not yet to be recovered. That's between about 14.10 and 14.32. If price does get down there and break it, we're then looking to this candle and then finally the previous marked candle. Now, what's interesting to note about this particular area right here is that it would be a retest of last week's high of the week. So price may head down and hold there, and that may be the best of the retracement that we get. It could also allow the 200 EMA to catch up to that level, depending on how fast price moves there. And so then we would have a market maker candle, a 200 EMA, previous high of the week, and all of these may support that being the lowest point that ETH goes for now. In addition to that, if we then have a look at the heat maps at around that point, we can see that we currently have very large orders at 1420. You can see that number there says 13K in case you can't see it, and that falls right in the middle of this area here. So I definitely have my eye on last week's high of the week being now flipped into the support area, meaning where price is currently, if it straight falls down to there, there's no trade because it's a terrible risk to reward. However, if price does come up to create a higher low, you're going to get a better chance of a short. Let's estimate it pushes up to here, and then you can have your stop loss above wherever the highest point is of that peak. You're going to have a much better risk to reward than shorting it from where price is now, when there's no guarantee we're going to break that zone. So if no second side M formation forms that gives you a good enough entry, not banking on price going all the way down here, but this being the initial target at the very least, then again, there's no trade. But what you would be looking for instead is to see if once that move has actually played out and price does bounce there with a nice strong bullish confirmation, that could be a good entry for the long position. Because again, I do believe that on a higher time frame, level 3 rise is yet to come. And again, I have been recording the delta on this move up. The delta is still outrageous for ETH. It is a not normal news event. But again, every time they rise it up and increase that delta, it doesn't take much of a move down to wipe out enough to keep them going. So this move down here, if it does go to retest our previous high of the week, may wipe out enough leverage for them to then collect their contracts and continue price moving up to the next level. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you're not already subscribed, and turn the bell notification to all so that you can be notified every time I upload a new video. It is now the 21st of July, so if you are thinking of joining the Discord, don't join the paid tiers for now, because Patreon does charge you at the time of sign up, and then they charge you again on the first of the month. So you will be charged in about another 10 days if you join today. But there is a link down below for the free section of the Discord instead. You can come along, be part of the community in the meantime whilst you're waiting for the new month to tick over. Have the most amazing day, have an amazing weekend, and I will see you guys next week.